Once again, we are back.
We are back.
This is Chris Gotti Lorenzo, and we will be giving them the business with my partner, Don Dinero.
Don Dinero. Que hola.
Que hola.
Business. You already know. So
I told him from the first show, once he said que hola, I'm going to keep saying it back to him.
Yeah. We're going to keep talking dirty to him.
We're going to keep talking dirty. Come here, you little bitch.
But listen, so we're going to talk, these, an aspect of our culture also is sports.
Of course.
Hip hop, football, basketball, anything that has to do with sports,
Only
but
way out the
especially
hood.
basketball.
It's the only way out the hood.
Wicked
jump shot, we couldn't afford it. That's the reality. So if you go back, I remember telling Don King, right, because he wanted us to do the music for all his fights. This is when he was the #1 promoter in the game. And I said, Don, I don't think your audience is my audience, so I don't think the people in your audience would want to watch my artists perform or listen to them. I said, look around the front row. It's all rich white guys, old white men that was in that front row. I mean, you didn't see none of us. Just go back. Go back to the Mike Tyson fight. You didn't see, but if you seen one or two, that's it. Now you see them all over. We control it. We dominate it.
It makes it cool to see the rappers.
That's right.
The other ball players.
Again, and it was something, again, it's not like we never wanted to do it. We are now able to do it because of economics and all these sports and rap. Again, we may not have the Harvard guys. We may not have as many, those rocket scientists and math quants that really kind of can change the game in that sense and make money from that perspective, from hedge funds and become a Elon Musk and develop things. We have the athletes. We have the talent, and the talent was what America has given the world, more than anything else.
We talk about what does America, every country has something that they cultivate.
A human resource.
Or a resource that they create.
What's America's human resource?
They can export, right?
What do we export?
We export culture, black culture.
That's it. Black culture.
Bottom
Period.
line.
Point blank. Bottom line. That's what we sell.
From the days
That's what America sells the world.
From the days of James Brown to Jim Brown to Muhammad Ali, Cassius Clay,
Mike Tyson.
Whatever, you know what I'm saying? So there's I know there's been some pro players also asking their money to get paid in crypto.
And just remember that stadium is shared with the LA Clippers. The Lakers share with the Clippers, which means they have to pay twice. They can't get away with just paying the Lakers for the sponsorship of the stadium. They have to pay for also.
The Lakers own it, and then the Clippers they kind of they rent out. It's kind of like you renting a room.
They have to get their part because you're in that building under their brand. So they still have to get their PC. That's what I mean. So it's like that. But crypto is not paying one fee. No, they're paying two fees is what I'm trying to explain.
When you have to have, it's a powerful move to take over an iconic stadium or to make that type of deal. They
got 3 statues in the front.
Right.
Like, God
so
dang.
Basketball, and basketball is always on the forefront.
Knicks don't have nothing.
The Knicks,
they have a miniature fucking Patrick Ewing. Shout out Patrick Ewing. And if I ever see you again, Pat, we're going to rip that fucking little fucking statue out of that stand in the fucking garden, yo. It's disrespectful. And I can't believe they just didn't do you better than that.
Well, I mean, again, the owners, let's not even get into that guy. But what I'm saying is that with the business and the contracts and everything that's going on now, there's a lot of money to become an NBA
A ton of money. So these young
money. High school
NBA
kids are getting paid. College players can get paid now, and then the amount of money and endorsements in the pro level is incredible.
Yeah, think of it. You gotta talk about some stuff like with Prime Time, Deion Sanders, man, what he's doing over there.
So I think that I root for him because I know in his heart what he's trying to do is the right thing, and he's saying, "Hey, you guys are great African American athletes.
Right, you could do it.
You don't know you're being bamboozled and used to bring all this money and all these. Think about how much money these athletes they've built their backs on not paying these athletes, but listen, let's talk about brand recognition. When I say I'm gonna name a university, you name an athlete. Right or wrong? Right or wrong? University of Miami.
I'm bad with names.
No, hey, University of Miami.
I'm bad
Any
with
athlete.
names.
You say Jim Kelly. You name.
Oh, come
hey,
on.
Florida State, Deion Sanders.
Yeah.
Right. So when you look at today and days, the colleges. When you look at this kid went to Duke, the kid at New Orleans that we're discussing, Zion.
Sure, Zion.
He went to Duke. Right, when you look, how much money did Duke make alone on jersey sales, on TV,
tickets?
On just okay. So what I'm saying is that
gotta pay to come watch them Dukies play, man.
And now, so
them Cameron
I
crazies.
think the NCAA's business plan was incredible.
Yeah.
Think about this. Imagine
from a
having
rape and pillage standpoint.
Oh, no, but listen, that is their business has always been predicated. Keep intellectual property, rape and pillage. They owned all the intellectual property of the players. When they sold the game to the NCAA, they wouldn't put the player's name on it, but they put the number and the likeness. Now they can. So when you look at all the business plays they did, it comes down to business. More for me. How is it? One for you, one for me.
No, one for you,
two for
one,
me,
2 for me.
2 for you.
Yeah,
1, 2, 3 for me, 3 for you.
That's
1,
it.
2, 3, 4 for me. Right.
It.
So that's kind of what the players, and I think now the players, the players are starting to get more power.
Yes.
Starting to understand. I think
the inmates run the asylum.
Yeah,
now.
and I think that LeBron's agent, his boy, has a lot to do with that
Rich.
too.
Man, shout out Rich, man.
You know,
Rich Paul
doing
and
great
Maverick
contracts.
And Randy, those guys did an unbelievable job with LeBron, his brand, the way they market him, presenting. What else they did is they're showing that we can do it. We're more than capable of doing these deals and running these kind of companies. And I mean, unbelievable. Hats off. Unbelievable job. You know, when I watch and look at it, and I know those guys, amazing. Man, the power play is these young men, for the most part, of color. And again, it's not that I always want to play on the race, but it's so important because this is the only way to get out of these situations we're in economically in these environments. And I mean, you got Zion Williams. I'll just name a few. John Morant. Oh my God, what he's doing out with the Memphis Grizzlies.
He's having a great year this year.
You know what I'm saying? Again, a Trae Young, unbelievable just cashed out last year, max contract, over $200 million. The kind of wealth we're talking about is unbelievable.
Yes.
But just playing basketball, a guy like a Zion, I'm very disappointed because he's overweight and you're making too much money to not be in shape to play basketball.
He's having a lot of physical injuries.
Well,
and
his
problems.
foot is because he's overweight and the pressure of his body, you know, probably from his strength. He's just so strong.
Didn't he rip out his shoe in college?
Yeah, when he ripped out his shoe, I said there's a problem there.
Yeah. Because
that's not a default in the shoe. It's just the guy is just cock strong. Pause. You know what I'm saying? But again, I'm disappointed because, you know, when I look at superstar athletes, which is what he was touted out to be, one of the superstar athletes, I look at they still do it and they make all the money. LeBron James is making more money than any of these guys, and he's still outworking.
I think he's making more. He made more of endorsements than he did off his salary, correct?
Yes. But he's outworking you. He's still there. Like, to me, that's what makes a star the star. Yeah. So you can't want to be a star if you don't put that work in, and money becomes obsolete. You know, what good is you got a max contract, you're getting all your endorsements. Now it's just play ball and do the best you can as this star athlete. And that's what these young kids are bringing to the table now that I love to see. That energy. Again, I'm going to talk John Morant. Anthony Edwards, again, special talent. And no one talks about him. They're in these small markets.
So he's Minnesota?
In Minnesota.
Oh, he's a beast.
So he's in with Carl Anthony Towns and Russell. You know, what's Russell's, what's his name? He was with L.A. Damn. Not Westbrook. But Russell is out there with him also. I'm sorry, Russ. My fault. My mind is going crazy. It'll come to me. And at the end of the day, he is going to be one of these star players in this league with this Max. But the reason I bring it up is because it changes lives. His family, the family that is under them, their cousins, will be affected by this generational type wealth that's generated with these young players. That is what isn't so important. When I talked about the boxing ring and them fighters change, you see all of us around that ring. That is what I'm talking about. How can we ever catch up if we never was in the game? And this is only, again, a small fraction of a way we could get generational wealth. It's not what we all should be thriving to, because we all can't be Michael Jordan.
No.
You know what I'm saying? So we have to figure other ways out. But this will lead you right to it, because, you know, in business, everyone needs assistance, help. No one does it by themselves. So it's the same in sports. It's no different than a basketball player. Someone had to bring his ass to fucking practice, pick him up, all of those things, to get him home, making sure he's getting there on time, giving him money so he could eat. Someone did that. Who's helping them handle it? Because just because you have an idea, you still need to know how to execute it without wasting all your money and bringing that right, doing that right. And that is my biggest concern. I know I went to David Stern when he was the commissioner, and I asked if I could be one of the people to talk to the rookies coming in, because I had financial people that I know are out for their best interests, that are trustworthy, good advice, you know, and I wanted to make sure they heard it from someone like me, who might have ran through every fucking dollar he had when he first got it, because he didn't know what to do. I didn't have mommy and daddy to teach me. And this is what they're facing, and for the most part. And that is why it's so important for someone like me to have these conversations with them when they have this opportunity in front of them, and make sure they understand how serious that is. But if you take care of, look, any sport, you could get hurt tomorrow. God forbid. But that's the reality you face playing sports. Yes. You know what I'm saying? So
I mean, there's a risk-reward aspect.
Of course. These are, you know, so you have to understand that you got this opportunity today. It doesn't mean it'll be there tomorrow. And I mean, there's tons of athletes that we could name that I'm sure never thought they would be hurting out and not in the sport that they love, that they thought they was going to dominate.
I mean, I think
Jason Williams, one of my boys right there, he had a motorcycle accident and couldn't get back. Played with Duke in Chicago and just couldn't get back because of the accident.
I think, you know, I think it's men playing the kids' game, and I think when the money gets involved, you know, they forget to kind of, you know, they're still doing what they love. I mean, it's still, you know, I mean, some are making more than others, right? There's 12, 13 guys on the roster, but at the end of the day, you know, they still do, you know, to be blessed to continue to play and do what you know what I'm saying, what you love.
Do what you love. These owners are not going to spend all this money and then have a guy like Ben Simmons in Philadelphia, who's a max contract, sitting out because he's saying to fans and he doesn't want to play in Philly. There's going to be repercussions and consequences behind all these actions. Saying, you know, even with Kyrie, as much as I love Kyrie, that's, you know, him not taking the shot, if he's getting fined, it is what it is, and that'll be that. But they're going to make rule changes, I guarantee it, going forward, because as an owner of any business, and it could be any one of them, if they own something, they're going to want it their way as the owner. So these owners in sports, they get a bad name for some of the things they do, but it's not always right or fair. Because as an owner, if I'm an owner of a company, I want to run it my way.
But you know, there's always risk in players whether you draft them, whether you know. I mean, Kobe had a crazy scandal at the beginning of his career, and they stuck with him, and he was able to overcome those things, right? So you're always gonna have. I think when you're investing in art and whether it's artists, we go through that. Whether you're investing in artists, in athletes, it's unlike any other investment. Because if me and you buy a building, we'll go home, whatever. And the worst case scenario here, the lights are out in the building, but you can go, it's a tangible thing you can see. When you have an artist or you have there's feelings involved, see, if you sit down and the guy does everything great, he's a good kid, and all of a sudden he goes to the right city, Chicago, and all of a sudden you leave him alone. You come back 3 weeks later. There's like 6 different hoes around him, and they all got Rolexes.
Hold on.
Hey, wait a second. I'm saying decisions. What I'm trying to tell you is that there's real life decisions that these young athletes have to make. Whether it's eating the right foods, what clubs they hang out on, what women they have in their lives.
At what age?
At any age that.
How old are these young athletes? 22?
They're babies.
They're babies.
Yeah, they're babies.
So what I told David Stern, again, you're touching right where I went, because I said, how can you stop it? Give this 22-year-old all this money, success from playing a sport that they love. They want to go fuck it up. They want to enjoy it too. That's why they work so hard. Yeah. So I understand that's why I said it needs to be someone like me, because I understand why.
Why you want to go see Jacob DeJula and go buy
what Kanye West say? He said, I bought a chain $25,000 before I had a house, and I do it again. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the reality, yo, that these athletes are dealing with, and I understand it.
I think it's the hip hop culture. They grew up in hip hop. No, I'm saying they grew up in hip hop.
It's the culture or environment they grow up in. If I don't let you live, and just because you get to, again, now college athletes are making money, but let's go before they did, and you go through fucking high school, no money, you're 18 years old, go to college, you got to play, let's say 2 years, fuck it, you're 20 years old, 21 years old, never having no money, but everything is given to you. The minute you have your own money,
it's awful.
You want to go do something. Yeah. You might want to go fuck that bitch that you've been begging to fuck. Now you got some money. You want to go take her out somewhere. You might gonna go buy your mother a house. You know what I'm saying? That you might not be able to.
That car you want and buy
that car. You're gonna do these things. You're gonna travel some. You're gonna hit the club and fuck it up with your boys, whatever, because you never did nothing. Right. That's why it's so important to allow them, but it needs someone to teach them to make sure they don't just go overboard and speak to them. And I know the NBA has people involved that do that. I just don't think it's the right people, in my opinion. Everyone has their motives, and that's the problem. I have no motive. I don't give a fuck. Right. I just want to educate. So when you're an educator, it's not about a motive. It's about making sure someone knows and has the knowledge and the information.
Empower them.
That's it, and empower them. That's my whole goal for all of this shit. You know what I mean? To make sure they know. And that's, with these athletes and these contracts, the great job they're doing, it's more about the opportunity they have for their family and to change their whole life forever. Forever, ever?
I mean, again, it's opportunity doing something you love, and being able to change. That's generational wealth. You can change your family forever.
Unbelievable what they do.
Bills, by the way.
Go Bills. And on that note, we are out. Another great episode.
No cap.
You know what I'm saying? No cap. You know what I'm saying? Just, again, remember, we'll be here. Chris Gotti Lorenzo, Don Dinero, here to give you the business and everything we doing.